I so you just tuned into another episode of Motivational Mondays. I'm your host Konrad Row, and we are live at the Cleveland Podcast Studio. We're live. Um, a couple things before I get in the mix. The topic for today is called "The Life or the Bullet," the ballot or the bullet. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, both Facebooks. I want you to pay attention because that's really all we have. All we have is either life or death, a life or the bullet. So but make sure that if you want any space, make sure you can either go online. You could do a whole bunch of things to get in contact with the Cleveland Podcast Studio. Get in contact with Larry James. So you can have a home today. All right, for your podcast, right? So the topic for today is called the ballot or the bullet. Um, the inspiration is through Malcolm X. So the question is, I want to ask this one question. The question is, which one do you pick? Is it life? Is it death? Is it this? Is it the bullet? It's reality. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about reality. I'm not talking about nothing else. When I say the life, at first it was the ballot or the bullet, but this is not politicians. Like I am not a politic. Like I am not a politicker, or this is not politics. Like we're not worried about the government. Like we that's not what I want you to worry about. Like we can't, as a whole, we can't worry about what the government is doing. We have to worry about us and the decisions that we're making. So I want you to ask yourself, right? I want you to ask yourself, right? I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to tell me what stops you from living your life. Like, what stops you really from living your life that was specifically created for you and for God's glory or for your parents' glory? I mean, is it problems? I mean, is it obstacles? Is it past feelings that's stuck in the back of your head? Like, is it thoughts? Like, are there thoughts in the back of your head that's stopping you from living your life? That's what you got to think about. Life or the bullet? Like, what's stopping you from being you? What's stopping you from following your dream? What's stopping you from living your life that you want to live? What's stopping you from getting up and telling yourself, right? And telling yourself that you can achieve and agree to whatever that life has in store for you? What's stopping you? What's stopping you? A life or the bullet? Don't you know, right? And this is the fact, right? Don't you know that Neil Armstrong, the man, he died, right? He died at the age of 84, 85. Don't quote me on the age, but he died, right? Not on the moon, but he died of old age, right? But don't you know that Neil Armstrong died, that he nearly died in May 1968? He went to the moon in 69. But he nearly died May 1968 in a practice launch. But what saved him, I'm going to tell you what saved him. What saved him was a parachute. And after that practice launch, he still chose to take his butt to the moon. I mean, that's. Now, Malcolm X, right? Malcolm X, he was watched by the CIA before his big speech. He was watched Africa before his big speech. He still preached. Barack Obama, I can go on and on. Barack Obama, he was slandered before he became president. He was slandered while he was president. They was trying to figure out what the heck was going on with him. Why he not doing this? Why he not doing that? Why you over here? Why you over there? Why you not worried? He was slandered. But he still was president for 4 years. In 19 and for some people, this gonna be a favorite. In 1969, the Crips was born on the West Coast because of police brutality. Then the Bloods came in 1972 because of the Crips. So when you think about it, what are you choosing? You choosing life, or you gonna choose the bullet? Albert Einstein. There's a funny thing about Albert Einstein because they called him a genius, but he didn't speak for 3 years of his life. They called him lazy. He was on the verge of being called a retard. But now we call him a genius. We don't know what that man went through. We don't know. We don't know. But still, it's the ballot or the bullet. It's either life or the bullet. Walt Disney World. The man who created Walt Disney World, he was fired from his first job. Now, everybody been fired from a job. It was one job you walked in and they told you to get out. He was fired from one job. The news told Walt Disney that he was not creative enough. He didn't have a good imagination. They told him that he was not good enough. And look it, now we got Walt Disney World. Let's think about it. These are all great people, all successful people, regardless if they're alive or dead. Just think about it. They made a choice in their life. So my question is what's stopping you from living at the highest capacity that you can live to, that you can live by, or you can live for? Because God created that. I'm not trying to be spiritual or nothing like that, but God created you to be special. God created you to think them thoughts. God created you to do these things. And if you don't believe in God, something created you. Whether if it was the Big Bang or not, whatever. It created you to do wonderful things, especially. So think about it like this, right? It's life or the bullet, right? What if you had a dream, right? What if you had a dream? What if you had a vision? The Bible says that young men shall dream visions, and old men shall dream dreams. We got a lot of old men out here that's dreaming dreams, but they ain't made a decision to take up whatever that they trying to do and follow that. You got a lot of young men that has visions, but scared to take that step. Right? Who cares about the naysayers? Who cares about the people that say that you're not qualified? I mean, who cares about qualification when you got faith? Now, skill and faith, we talked about that. Maybe you do have to, work on your skill. But that means you have to grow to fit the qualifications, then approach it again. But that don't got nothing to do with making a decision. You have to make a decision. If you want it, you have to make a decision. So you going to choose life or you going to choose the bullet? Right? Choose life. I want you to choose life. You should choose life because your life was created specially for you. It wasn't created for nobody else. Maybe for God to get the glory, but that's it. Other than that, you could do what you want with your life. You could destroy it, jump off a bit. You could do whatever you want with your life. You could do whatever you want with your talents because of decision making. Decision making. That's why I'm telling you. Who cares about the naysayers? Who cares about all of that? Just make a decision. It's either life or the bullet. You can run for life. Like, you can run from life, but you can't hide from life. Because I'm going to tell you what, wherever you leave it, it's going to be there when you get back. Right where you left it at. So wherever you put life down, like let's say for instance you running away from child support, just for all my men who owe child support. Let's say, for instance, you running away from child support. Child support still gonna be there when you get back. Like, you still gonna get a letter that's gonna say you owe this much, but now you owe this much. That's just like your kids. They gonna be there wherever you left them. They might be a little grown, and they might look at you like, Dad, no, go back, nah. When you ready, yeah, we could build a relationship. So wherever you leave life, life will be there to meet you at the highest capacity. And then when you get there to decide, I'm going to live life, guess what's going to happen? What's going to happen is that things is going to be a lot more harder than it was when you left it. That's just how life is. That's just how life is. So when you fight this life, you have to have an attitude to fight it. If you got an attitude of flight, guess what's going to happen? You're going to leave, you're going to flight, and it's going to be waiting for you when you get back. Right, TikTok? Right, Instagram? Right, Facebook? It's going to be waiting for you when you get back. Just think about it. If you choose life, life will be a lot more smoother. You might have obstacles and circumstances, but why choose the bullet? Why choose the bullet? Why choose a circumstance that was not built for you, that's going to mold your character and mold you into something that you don't want to be? Why? Why choose the bullet? Because that's what the bullet is. Bullet don't exactly mean death. It means the process. Listen, from the beginning of time, right? From the beginning, when you were first born, you're born to die. You're not born to live. You're born to die. Adam and Eve made that perfectly clear when they went and they bit that apple and death came into the world. Before that, they were saying that people was living for years. They were saying these things. They was also saying that the reason why, and this is actual fact. They were saying, right? And scientists are still saying, actually, it was a guy named Jose. It's a guy named Jose, a scientist named Jose, he boldly said that humans do not live a productive, humans die because when the dinosaurs was here, they reproduced so fast that they sped up life. That's why human beings cannot live longer than a certain age. I mean, is it not because of the food that we eat? Is it not because of the things that we do with our body? The average person only lives until about like 65. Past 65, I mean, you pretty much, I don't know. Like, there's the average. After 65, you get your Social Security. But some people ain't gonna see that Social Security. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So, but that's what makes you great. That's what made all these people great. That's what turns your life golden. That's what turns your life golden. It's the circumstances that you go through. Pressure makes diamonds. That's just like with the Crips. They became the Crips not because there was a gang that was together. They became the Crips because they like, you know what? We gonna police our own neighborhood. That's what we gonna do. And anybody who not from here is getting shut down. The West Coast did that. People on the West Coast did that. Then you got the first set of Peru. Peru came because they tried to take over their neighborhood. So that's what the Peru, and the Peru stood up like, all right, you know what? In 1972, that's when the Bloods first came, right? The Perus, they said, you know what? They standing for that over there, but they trying to do this over here. They trying to take over our block. This is where we live. So we have to do this for our neighborhood. It wasn't because there was a whole bunch of guys that was sitting around and running around. It wasn't. It wasn't. But yet, right? But yet you got politics and politicians and People that's taking things and twisting things, and now you got a whole generation of people that don't know what the heck is going on or don't know what's going on. This is not a spiritual. This is not a spiritual decision. I'm not telling you to take over the government. I'm not telling you to worry about the government. What I'm saying is worry about you and choose either life or the bullet. I'm not telling you to find a church. That's on you if you want to find a church. I'm not telling you to become a devout Muslim and then just stop eating pork. That's not what I'm saying to you. That's not what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to you is this. This is what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to you is this. Choose life or choose the bullet. That's what I'm telling you. Or the bullet gonna come find you. Or it's gonna choose you. Just live your life at the highest capacity. See life with a bullet. Right? So before I log off, right, I'm gonna bring my guests up for a couple minutes before we end. And before I do it, I want you to definitely tap in with the Cleveland podcast. You know, if you want to, I see Yvonne. Now, I mean, if you want to tap in, I want you to tap in with the Cleveland podcast. Remember that Cleveland podcast studio. Remember that. All right, put that in your mind. Lock it, key, throw it away. So later on after this live, you could be like, you know what? I'm gonna look up the Cleveland podcast because that's where we at. So, nevertheless, me Adam. Hold up. Me Adam. I mean, I'm gonna see what he thought about the show. Right. What's good, bro? What's good, bro? How you doing?
Not much, just chilling. What's good? What's good?
Yeah, bro. How you doing, man? How you doing today?
Doing good. I'm doing good.
I mean, like, what you thought about the show?
So what I think about this show is, to be honest, I fuck with your shit. Your shit hard. You make a nigga think in the detail. Like you not just you don't just come up here and start speaking bullshit and shit. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. 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 So hold on, I'm like, so what did you get out of choosing life or the bullet? What did you get out of that?
What did I get out of that?
Yeah, yeah. You you didn't think I was gonna hit you with a curveball, did you? You didn't think?
No, I was watching though, the whole thing. I was watching. Like, what do I think?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, what you get out of that?
What I get out of it is that sometimes the life you're gonna be put in certain circumstances, or sometimes in life the shit that you do is not your fault. It just falls on you.
Yeah.
Like the West Coast talking about the Crips, how when the Crips first started, you know what I'm saying? How they got all that shit started, type shit. You feel me? So when it's just like I don't know. You just speaking like I feel like I don't know. You asking
It's
that
something to
question.
think about. It's something to think about.
Yeah, like I really gotta think about that shit.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, like, it's something to think about because the simple fact is that all of that stuff came from friction. It came from friction. Like something had to happen, right? Right? Something had to happen in life. Something had to happen in life for something like that to involve. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but in moving on though, you had also said that you was an artist, right? Well, off record, you said you was an artist.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so tell me a little bit about your music, and tell the people where they can find you.
So I probably started rapping back around since I was in kindergarten. I used to have all my friends, you feel me, used to call me a hey yo Vaughn, pull up, you feel me? I used to pull up to the table, rapping all through school, and then probably around like 12th grade, I hopped in the studio, whatever, you feel me, made a song, and I dropped that around like 2019, I think it was,
Mm,
2020. And
mm-hmm.
then I dropped that shit, and then like it went viral type shit. So,
Mm.
feel me?
Okay. I mean, like, and you just been doing music ever since, huh?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. I mean, okay. So, so at a later date, because we running out of time. So at a later date, you know what I'm saying? We gonna get you up here. We gotta actually interview you. You know what I'm saying? We gonna see. You know what I'm saying? You know the thoughts of Vaughn, how you think. You know what I'm saying? But for the meantime, squeeze time, tell the people where they can find you.
Y'all can find me in Albany, New York. Y'all can find me in SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook. You feel me? The street. You feel me? Don't try me like no average rap because I still busting nigga cat. You know what it is. You feel me? Whole lot of Wild West. You know, a lot of hundreds. You feel me?
All right, okay, all right, okay, all right, brother, okay, all right. So with that being tuned, yo, you just tuned into another episode of Motivational Mondays. I'm your host, Konrad Row. We are live at the Cleveland Podcast. Until next time, peace.